Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim. Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. Yat kripatamaham vande Paramananda Madhavam. Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Hare Krishna. So last 2 days we have discussed some basic topics of the Bhagavad Gita. So today is the final day. There are 3 more topics which are very, very important for understanding the essence of the Gita. Universal form, which is essentially chapter 11 of the Bhagavad Gita. The 3 modes of material nature, 3 gunas, very important topic in the Bhagavad Gita. Probably no other scripture has got such a nice description of the 3 gunas as the Bhagavad Gita. The title of the 14th chapter itself is the 3 modes of material nature. But in addition, there is also a description of the 3 gunas in chapter 17 and 18 also. Then the third topic today we're going to discuss is divine and demoniac natures. 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So let's start with the universal form. At the end of the 10th chapter, Krishna tells Arjuna open the last verse, the 42nd verse of the 10th chapter. There's the last verse of the 10th chapter. Athava bahunaitena kim jnatena tavarjuna vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam ekam shena sthito jagat. Someone can read the translation of this 42nd verse of the 10th chapter. Yeah, the mic can be given.
But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, what is that single fragment of Krishna by which he pervades? Pervades means he is present everywhere and in the universe, and he also supports the whole universe. Ekam Shena Sthito Jagat. So Prabhupada says, the Supreme Lord is represented. Somebody can read the first sentence of the purport.
Purport by Jai Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Lord is represented throughout the entire material universes by his entering into all things as the Super Soul.
The Super Soul is that single fragment of Krishna who has entered into everything and is pervading and supporting the whole universe. Not only this universe, all the universes. So now that leads to the 11th chapter. To the end of the 10th chapter, it leads to the 11th chapter, which is entitled The Universal Form, because Arjuna asks a question from Krishna. In the 3rd verse, Read the translation. Third verse of the 11th chapter. Arjuna's question.
O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see here before me your actual position, I yet wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours.
Krishna says, I have entered into everything as super soul. Yet, Arjuna wants to see how Krishna has entered into this cosmic manifestation. How Krishna has entered into this universe. Krishna, before the material creation begins itself, Krishna in his expansion as Sankarshana, he expands as Mahavishnu. And as Mahavishnu enters into the material energy, material energy is lying in a dormant state as a cloud in the spiritual sky, a small, insignificant portion of the spiritual sky, which is brilliantly effulgent, which is the effulgence of Krishna, Brahma Jyoti. That bright spiritual sky has got a small patch of a cloud called Mahatattva, the material energy in the dormant condition. So Krishna enters into that as Mahavishnu. As Mahavishnu. So Krishna entering this material cosmic manifestation begins with his entering the material energy. Then the energy is activated. And Krishna, as Mahavishnu, he glances over this material energy and injects the living entities. He injects the living entities into material energy. And that's described in the 14th chapter. That he actually is responsible for the birth of all the living entities in this material world. In the womb of material nature, he acts like the seed-giving father by injecting the living entities merely by his glance. So, the first entering is as Mahavishnu. Next, when he breathes out, Mahavishnu lies on the causal ocean. The causal ocean is his own perspiration. And on that causal ocean, he lies down and he breathes out. He goes into Yoga Nidra and breathes out. When he breathes out, exhales, billions and billions of universes in their seed-like form come out of his skin holes. And that seed-like universe, he again enters. Mahavishnu expands as the second Vishnu form. Garbhodaka Shayi Vishnu. Padmanabha Vishnu. The second Vishnu form. He enters into each seed-like universe. Very, very tiny seed-like form of each universe. That is the second form of Vishnu who enters into the universe. Vishnu means one who enters. One of the meanings of the word Vishnu. Vishnu means he enters. So first he enters the material energy, then he enters the material universes. Many of them are there. Then after he enters, then the universe begins to develop. First of all, the universe expands into one gigantic shell. And again, that shell is empty. He fills that shell with half the shell with his perspiration, water of his perspiration. That is called Garbha Udaka Garbha ocean. And then he lies down on that. Garbhodaka Shayi. Shayi means one who lies down. The Garbhodaka. And he becomes Garbhodaka Shayi Vishnu. And he actually does the further creation by one lotus flower coming out of his navel. Padma Nabha. One Padma, that is a lotus flower, comes out of his navel, Nabha. So it's called Padma Nabha. And on that Brahma is born. Brahma will do the further creation. So then, further, on that lotus stem, so many planets are generated from the material energy itself, the material elements. So many planets are created by Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu in his form as Virat Purusha or Vishwa Rupa, in his Vishwa Rupa. He is the one who does the, creates the diversity in this material universe, the planets, and on the planets, all the living spaces, the residences of different creatures. Some live in the water, some live in the air, some live in the sky, some live on the land. So he creates the diversity, living spaces, and Brahma does the populates this universe. By first, Brahma generates the Prajapatis, and the Prajapatis generate the first of each species. And then the species will multiply and populate the whole universe with all the living entities. So each creature has got its own living space. Some are aquatics, some are living on the land, some are living in the sky, some are living in the fire, some are living in the air. Everywhere there are living entities. So he creates that living spaces, and Brahma and the Prajapatis do the further creation in terms of populating the universe with the living entities. And then this Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu further expands as the maintainer Vishnu. Maintainer Vishnu. The third Vishnu is Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu. He has his own planet among the millions of planets in this universe, in each and every universe. So one planet, his own planet called Shweta Dvipa. But that planet has got an ocean of milk. And in the center of that ocean, there is an island that's called Dvipa. And because it's in the center of a milk ocean, it's called Shweta Dvipa. On that Shweta Dvipa resides the third Vishnu. Third Vishnu. That third Vishnu also enters into the heart of every created living being as Paramatma, super soul. So the super soul of the material energy is the first Vishnu. The super soul of every universe is the second Vishnu. The super soul of every living being, the heart of every living, is the third Vishnu. So all these Vishnus are entering. Therefore, they're called Vishnu. Now, here, Arjuna's question is, I want to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. Here, specifically, it refers to the universe. Arjuna is asking Krishna, how have you entered into this universe? Now again, as I told you, as far as entering the universe, there are two distinct forms in which Mahavishnu enters this universe. As Garbhodaka Shayi Vishnu or Padmanabha, Also called Ananta Padmanabha because he lies down on Ananta Sesha. Padmanabha is one form in which Vishnu has entered this universe. There's another form, Virat Purusha. Virat Purusha. That is the universal form of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Universal form. So that universal form is what Arjuna is asking. Show me your universal form. That particular form Arjuna is asking, please show me. So then Krishna says in the 5th verse, somebody read the 5th verse translation, 11th chapter.
The blessed Lord said, My dear Arjuna, O son of Pratha, behold now my appliances, hundreds of thousands of varied divine forms, multicolored like the sea.
This universal form means hundreds of thousands of divine forms. Shatashotha sahasrashaha. So what is that hundreds of thousands of divine forms? That is described more in the later verses. So in the 6th verse, somebody read the 6th verse.
O best of the Bharatas, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Rudras, and all the demigods. Behold the many things which no one has ever seen or heard before.
Krishna is showing all the different forms of the Devatas. All the different forms of the Devatas. Now Arjuna is seeing everything sitting, supposed to see everything sitting in one place. Where is Arjuna? On the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Where on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? Sitting on his chariot. So Krishna is showing him that. So Krishna says, whatever you wish to see can be seen all at once in this body, in Krishna's own body. So then Sanjaya describes in the 11th verse. Somebody read the 11th verse translation.
Translation.
11th verse.
Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths and unlimited eyes. It was all wondrous. The form was decorated with divine, dazzling ornaments and arrayed in many garbs. He was garlanded gloriously, and there were many scents smeared over his body. All was magnificent, all expanding, unlimited. This was seen by Arjuna.
So, the universal form of the Lord, there are unlimited number of mouths, unlimited number of eyes, unlimited number of hands, legs, etc. So these are distributed throughout the universe. Prabhupada says in the purport, 11th verse purport, these two verses, that is the 10th and the 11th, they're together given here, that these two verses indicate that there's no limit to the hands, mouths, legs, etc. of the Lord. These manifestations are distributed throughout the universe and are unlimited. Arjuna, by the grace of the Lord, could see them while sitting in one place. This is due to the inconceivable potency of Krishna. So this universal form, even though it is a temporary manifestation, it is actually manifested by Krishna's internal potency. The material creation itself is Krishna's external potency. They call our bodies, the whole earth, the different planets made up of the 5 elements, the sense objects, the varieties. All of them are a manifestation of Krishna's external potency. But Krishna's universal form is manifestation of Krishna's internal potency. Just like the spiritual world is manifestation of Krishna's internal energy, internal potency, internal energy, spiritual energy. Huh? Krishna's own birth in this material world, his incarnations, appear under the internal potency, spiritual potency. So, Krishna, for his own purposes, either in the spiritual world or in the material world or anywhere, he always employs his internal potency. Whereas for the living entities who are conditioned souls, who want to enjoy independent of Krishna, for them, this material potency is working. This material potency, Durga Devi, is active only for the sake of the conditioned souls. Even the pure devotees are not under the material energy. They are always under the divine spiritual energy, Krishna's personal energy, also called Krishna's personal energy. The 9th chapter, this is explained in the, I think the 13th verse. Mahatmanastu mam partha. Yes, 13th verse. Daivim prakritimashhritaha bhajanti ananya manaso gyatva bhutadim avyayam. These Mahatmas refer to the pure devotees. Somebody read the translation, 9.13.
O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible.
So here Krishna uses the term Daivim Prakriti Mashritaha. Daivim Prakriti means, Prabhupada explains, it's the internal potency of Krishna, Yoga Maya. Whereas the conditioned souls are always under Mahamaya. Mahamaya. And that Maya is described in 7.14. 7.14. Read the translation. Daivi hesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mame vaye prapadyante maya metham tarantite. Read the translation.
This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it.
So, even the material energy is divine energy of Krishna. It's a divine energy. That's also Daivi Shakti. Internal potency is also Daivi Shakti, divine energy. But this is further qualified as distinctly different from the internal potency. The external potency is qualified as Gunamayi Maya. Daivi Gunamayi Maya. Gunamayi means consisting of the three gunas. These three gunas are only acting in the external energy. The Gunamayi Maya, also called Mahamaya, Durga Devi. Whereas the internal potency is Yoga Maya, Subhadra Devi. Durga is also called Bhadra. Bhadra, Bhadra Kali, Bhadra. And internal potency in this material world is Subhadra. Jagannath Puri, we have Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. That Subhadra is internal potency of Krishna, personification of internal potency. So Subhadra, Bhadra and Subhadra, Mahamaya, Yogamaya, Gunamayi Maya and Yogamaya. So Yogamaya, there is no action of three gunas. So this is the distinction. So pure devotees are never under, even in the material world, Krishna, when he comes, or his pure devotees come from the spiritual world, they are completely under the Subhadra energy, Yogamaya energy. Huh? Whereas we conditioned souls, we are always under the Gunamayi Maya. We are influenced, we are affected by these three gunas. And pure devotees are never influenced, never affected by the three gunas. Anyway, so Krishna is showing Arjuna his universal form, which is manifestation of his internal potency. Even though what Arjuna is seeing is the manifestation of the different demigods. The demigods are under the external potency. Their form is also material. The form of the demigods, the form of all the living beings, created beings, is material. But what Krishna is showing Arjuna is his universal form, which is completely a spiritual form. It is not a material form. It's difficult to reconcile this. He's showing the whole universe to Arjuna. But the universal form which Krishna is showing is his own form. His own form. Whereas the universe itself, consisting of the various planets and each planet having many living entities and all the diversities, all of them are made of the material energy. And Krishna never comes in contact with the material energy. So now, to understand what is this universal form, you have to study the 11th chapter. Okay? It's questions. I had said somebody can ask the first question yesterday. I did not.
Manju Kiran.
Manju.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Is he here?
I am online.
Online. Okay. He can ask the question online.
So yesterday we talked about
There's already one question on online by Shubhra Sharma. Mahavishnu has a lot of similarities to Param Shiva from Shiva Sutras. What's the difference between Mahavishnu and Param Shiva? Is there just a difference in nomenclature, or is there more to it? Kindly explain.
Now, Shiva's personality is a very unique personality. Shiva is not a Jiva. Shiva is not Vishnu. Shiva has got his own position called Shiva Tattva. He is actually a Guna Avatara of Vishnu. So he has got some characteristics of Vishnu and some characteristics of Jiva. And he is in his own position. He has got his specific functions. But his primary or fundamental position is he's the greatest of Vaishnavas. Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu. This is the statement of the Bhagavatam, 12th canto. And as a Vaishnava, he is Acharya, heading one Sampradaya, Vaishnava Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya. Rudra Sampradaya. And among the Acharyas coming in that Rudra Sampradaya, Vallabhacharya is in Rudra Sampradaya. Vallabhacharya. Another contemporary of the four Acharyas or the four Sampradayas, Vishnu Swami is in the Rudra Sampradaya. Vishnu Swami is in the Rudra Sampradaya. So this Rudra Sampradaya is headed by Shiva as a Vaishnava. And as a Vaishnava, Shiva is mostly engaged in glorifying the Supreme Lord Krishna, Vishnu, Narayana in his conversations with his consort, Parvati, Durga Devi. So constantly Durga is hearing the glories of Krishna from Shiva. Shiva spoke the entire Bhagavatam to Durga Devi. He has spoken so many glories of Krishna that is there in so many other scriptures. A lot of scriptures are there. Lot of scriptures are there. They're not so much well known, not so popular, but they are there. So answering that question, Shiva has got many different forms. They're called the forms of Rudras. He's got thousands and millions of forms, different functions. All of them don't belong to the category of Jiva. They don't belong to the category of Jiva. They are in the category of Shiva himself. And Shiva actually has got specific functions in his various forms, Rudra forms. Even as Shiva himself in this material world, incarnation of Shiva, he is the Devata in charge of destruction. He is the director of Tamoguna. But he is not a tamasic person. He is above the gunas. But he is the director of Tamoguna. Brahma is the director of Rajoguna. Vishnu is the director of Sattvaguna. So they are the three principal devatas, Trimurti, Trinity. But their position is very special. So Shiva's position cannot be easily understood. So answering that question, is there a difference between Param Shiva and Mahavishnu? Yes, they are different personalities. Mahavishnu is another form of Krishna only. Non-different from Krishna in the sense, both are the same Supreme Soul, one person, Supreme Soul. Vishnu, Narayana, Krishna, Narsimha, Vamana, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Balaram, Krishna, all of them are one person, Krishna. Whereas Shiva and his expansions are Shiva only in various forms. Okay, next question.
Raj, I have a question. You said that universal form is the manifestation of Krishna's internal potency, and it's a completely spiritual form. But also we say that this universal form is a temporary manifestation.
Yes.
Something which is completely spiritual and internal potency, how it can be temporary? It should be eternally there.
Like even Paramatma is temporary manifestation of the Supreme Lord in this material world, the heart of every living entity. Paramatma is also temporary manifestation. But Paramatma is completely transcendental form. Mahavishnu's form is temporally manifest, not eternally manifest in the material world. Any manifestation is temporary. Krishna appears and disappears in this material world. Krishna himself. But he appears in his eternal form.
But Krishna is there after that, there also.
Yeah, Krishna is always there.
But universal form is not.
Universal form is Krishna only.
But in the universal form.
Yeah, but in the universal form he is not there. Like Narsimha, in the form of half man, half lion, he manifests, but he is there in the spiritual world in the four-handed Narayana form. Rama, he appears like in a two-handed form, but in the spiritual world, Rama is eternally situated in four-handed form. Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha appear as Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna. They are all two-handed, human-like form. But in the spiritual world, they are eternally present as Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. Like that. But Krishna, when he comes in the same form as he is present in the spiritual world as Krishna. Krishna is the only exception. Only exception. But he comes and he goes. He appears and disappears. All the forms, all the incarnations, they appear and disappear. They appear and disappear. All incarnations. But they are completely transcendental forms. Next question. Anybody else has? Mataji there.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, when devotee partakes in the Leelas of the Lord,
Which devotee? Pure devotees.
Yeah, pure. So, do they leave the spiritual world and come to material realm, or they
No, nobody leaves and comes here. They are in the spiritual world. They also come to the material world with Krishna. Arjuna is a constant companion of Krishna in the material world when Krishna incarnates. So Krishna is, appearing in one universe at this moment. Next moment is appearing in another universe. Next moment is appearing in another universe. So Arjuna is also with Krishna in every universe. So Arjuna also expands. Tulsi Maharani, how many forms of Tulsi are there in this material world? As many Tulsi plants are there. All are one person, Tulsi, one devotee in the spiritual world. One devotee. So we can't understand what is the spiritual form. Our conception of spiritual form is the same material form which is made up of spirit. That's what we tend to think. No, it's not material form having a spiritual substance. No, it is completely different, something else. We can't understand that. Because material form follows material laws, made up of material substance. Spiritual form follows spiritual laws. Spiritual substance is something else, completely different. We can't even understand what is the spiritual substance. Its characteristic is Satchidananda. That means spiritual form is always a person. Material form is never a person. There's no personality in a material form. There's no consciousness in a material form. In matter, there is no consciousness. Spirit is always full of consciousness. Spirit is always person. So therefore, matter is mutable. I take a lump of clay, shape it into a pot, then I break that pot, powder it, and again mix some water. Again, I can make it like a lump of clay. Again, that clay, I can shape it into a lamp. You can't do that with spirit. Spirit is immutable. Today morning we were reading, afternoon, Gita class. 2.21. Immutable, avyaya. Immutable. Spirit cannot be transformed. You are a person, you are an eternal person, and you got your eternal relationship with Krishna, and you're eternally the same, servant of Krishna, devotee of Krishna. Always. Next question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
So what
Krishna knows.
I'm a little confused with the universal form and Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. So it's
two different forms.
So they coexist?
Always. They always
So
coexist.
within the universe, so there is a universal form and there is a Garbhodaka
Garbhodaka
Sai
Sai Vishnu also. The form of the universe is universal form. But it is not a combination of all the planets. Just like our material body is a combination of our hands, legs, our eyes, our ears. It's actually made like that only. All these develop, no? All these holes develop and all the organs develop in the mother's womb. It happens actually. From the material substance. Material substance is the mother's whatever digested remnants and digested, not remnants, digested nutrition that goes to form the tissues, the bones, the blood, and also it takes a shape. Heart, kidney, miniature. Child is born with kidney, with heart, with eyes, with ears, very, very small. But spiritual form is not like that. There's no separate eyes, separate ears, parts. There are no parts. So it's difficult for us to conceive. That's the way spiritual form is. Okay.
The question answer time is over.
Okay.
And Manju has put his question. He was supposed to ask the first question.
Okay, let me answer that question and then I'll proceed with the...
So he's asking, somebody close the door.
Kids are having fun. We are seriously sitting and discussing something. Let's join them.
The question is, we are different types of liberation through different yoga.
Huh.
What dictates the spirit soul to choose and direct one over the other, even though the ultimate liberation is through bhakti yoga?
We don't have a choice, actually. We falsely think we have a choice. It is our material conditioning based on which we may desire different types of material enjoyment, different types of relief from material suffering. Like those who desire to go to the heavenly planets, they think that if I have all the pleasures available in material in the heavenly planet, then I'll be happy. I'll not be having any problems. Just like a poor man may think, I'm suffering only because I don't have money. If I get enough money, all my problems are solved. But there's a big illusion. Like somebody working in a factory or a company at a very low level. They think, I'm harassed by my bosses. If I am the managing director, the topmost person in this company, I'll simply be directing everybody. Nobody can direct me. But that's another big illusion. Similarly, what we say, so-called choice, by karma yoga I can, if I practice, I can go to heavenly planets. By jnana yoga I can merge into the existence of God. By Ashtanga yoga I can get siddhi. All this is big illusion that by that I can become happy, I can become satisfied, I can become free. There is no freedom except when we are reinstated in our constitutional position as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord as his devotee. That is the only liberated state of existence. There's no other state of existence which is liberated state of existence for the living being. So that we understand only when we study or come to Bhakti Yoga. Otherwise, there's no understanding of the complete truth. They cultivate spiritual knowledge in Jnana Yoga, but all their knowledge is partial. If at all they have some spiritual understanding, their knowledge is partial. It's incomplete. Even the Ashtanga yogis, their knowledge is also partial. They are able to meditate on a conceived form of the Supreme Lord in the heart as Paramatma, Vishnu form. So they meditate on that Vishnu form, but they think this Vishnu form is going to disappear when the whole world is destroyed. So they think, I will also disappear, Vishnu will also disappear, everything will disappear. Then what happens to me? Oh, if I get liberation, I will merge into that oneness, that Brahman, which is actually Vishnu in my heart now, which is what I am. This is their understanding. This is completely wrong. Partially it is correct. Everything is a manifestation of that Brahman or Brahma Jyoti. The whole material manifestation, including the spirit soul and the Paramatma, yes, manifestation of Brahman. But Brahman variety, diversity of Brahman in the spiritual world, that only devotees know. Only devotees know. Devotees understand the variety of Brahman, manifestation of Brahman in the spiritual world, in the material world also. In fact, the material energy is also Brahman, that it is the energy of Krishna. Brahman, you can take it like energy of Krishna. Energy of Krishna. Okay, so now we'll proceed. So please study the 11th chapter, the universal form. And then now we will go on to the 3 modes of material nature. The 3 modes of material nature are very nicely described in the Bhagavad Gita. You can't find such a clear description which is easy to understand and which is given in one place except in the Bhagavad Gita, the 14th chapter. This is also a secret revealed in the Bhagavad Gita, because in the 7th chapter, Krishna says, matter or material energy consists of 8 elements. In the 14th chapter, Krishna says, material nature or material energy, matter consists of 3 gunas. The 5th verse, can somebody read the translation? 14.5. Sattvam rajas tama iti guna prakriti sambhavaha nibadnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam.
Material nature consists of the 3 modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the living entity comes in contact with nature, he becomes conditioned by these modes.
See? Many people may know that matter or material nature or material energy consists of 5 elements. So Bhagavad Gita says not just 5 elements, there are 8 elements. There are 3 subtle elements. 5 gross and 3 subtle. Panchabhuta and the 3 subtle elements, mind, intelligence and ego. Now here in the 14th chapter, something even more confidential is revealed. That's why I go back to 14.1. Krishna tells something very interesting to Arjuna. 14th chapter continues from the 13th chapter. There is no question by Arjuna in the beginning of the 14th chapter. He asks a question later on in the 14th chapter. So please read translation of 14.1.
The blessed Lord said, again, I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained to supreme perfection.
The best of all knowledge, jnananam jnanam uttamam. Already is revealed, matter or material energy consists of 8 elements. Now he's telling not only the 8 elements, matter or material energy also, material energy consists of 3 gunas. As matter, material energy as matter, there is no energy. Where is the energy? Matter is inert. But as gunas, material energy displays its force. The gunas are acting. invisible way, in a very subtle way, the gunas are acting. All of us, all conditioned souls, are conducted by the gunas. We behave, we act, we think, we work, we eat, we sleep exactly according to the influence of the gunas. It's a very, very confidential, very revolutionary revelation. So please understand this chapter very nicely to understand that you are spirit soul, you're not the body, but it's not so easy to come out of this bodily trap, encagement that we have all got entangled in. It's not easy at all. And what does Krishna say in 7.14? Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya. Gunamayi Maya, we are trapped in this Gunamayi Maya. And he says, only way you can come out, Mam eva ye prapadyante Maya metam tarantite. Only way you can get out of this entanglement of the gunas, the influence of the gunas, the trap of the gunas, is by surrendering to Krishna. See? So, here in the 14th chapter, Krishna reveals Jnananam Jnanam Uttamam, the best of all knowledge. Even though 9th chapter he said, I'll reveal to you the most confidential knowledge, the topmost secret. 14th chapter is even more greater knowledge. Greater knowledge. So this 5th verse, Krishna says, material nature consists of 3 gunas. Gunas Prabhupada translates as modes. This is very unique translation. Nobody else will translate modes. Many times, I mean, long back when I first read this, I couldn't understand what is the meaning of modes. Prabhupada always said 3 modes of material nature. Mode means the way the gunas influence us. The way the gunas influence us. Sattva guna has got one kind of influence on us. Rajoguna has got another kind of influence on us. Tamoguna has another 3rd kind of influence on us. And the complexity is not just that the gunas are influencing us, but they are simultaneously influencing us. All 3 are acting on us. So it's even more complicated. And we are blissfully in ignorance. Like everybody says, I'm happy, at least when they are healthy and they don't have immediate problems, some burning problems, something like that. Or you come out of some problem, I'm happy. But the modes are acting. Continuously they are acting and making us do all kinds of stupid things. We are made a donkey, an ass, by these gunas. You see? Now study this 14th chapter, 17th chapter, and 18th chapter. What is the influence of the gunas? How they are working? How they actually, how they condition us. Condition means, this is nibadnanti. They bind us to this material world. We read in the 3rd chapter, 9th verse, definition of karma yoga. Yajnarthat karmana anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Karma bandhana means the bondage of material nature. how is material nature binding us? When you to bind somebody, you tie them with a rope. So Prabhupada says another meaning of the word guna is ropes. So gunas are binding us like a rope is used to tie a person. So hands, legs, everything tied up. We have no freedom. I am free. I can lift my hand whenever I want. Moment I get paralytic stroke, finished. Where is my freedom? Or something happens in my brain. When I lift my hand, I get pain here. So we are not free. We are bound up by material nature through the gunas. How these gunas are working. So Krishna systematically in the 14th chapter describes these three gunas. So just to give an example, let's read 6, 7 and 8. 6 describes the influence of Sattva guna. 7 describes the influence of primary characteristic of the influence of each of the gunas. 6, 7 and 8. So read 6 translation. 14.6. We're reading 14.6.
O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being poorer than the others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode develop knowledge, but they become conditioned by the concept of happiness.
Okay, let me explain this a little. Among the three gunas, the best guna or the purest among the three are Sattva guna. Sattva guna is the best among the three. And lowest is Tamoguna. In between is Rajoguna. Okay, now Sattva guna, the characteristic is Sattvam, Tatra Sattvam, Nirmalatvat, Prakashakam, Anamayam. Nirmalatvat means it is the purest among the three gunas in the material world. And it is got two characteristics. Prakashakam, Anamayam. Prakashakam means it is illuminating. In goodness, we can see things as they are. Under the influence of Rajoguna, we can't see things in the proper perspective. Tamoguna also, we cannot see things as they are. Only in Sattoguna it's possible. Prakashakam, Anamayam. And also, one influenced by Sattva-guna is freed from sinful reactions. Sattva-guna actually frees us from sinful reactions. Therefore, for any spiritualist, among the three gunas, Sattva-guna is the most preferred guna. Though, go back to the 5th verse and remember, all the three gunas have got the common characteristic that they all bind us to this material world. Merely situating yourself in Sattva guna, free from the influence of Rajo and Tamoguna, is not enough for liberation. Liberation means you have to become free from the influence of all the three gunas, because Sattva guna also binds us in a certain way. How does it bind us? Sukha sangena badhnati. Badhnati means it binds. Sukha sanga. Jnana sangena cha anagha. Anagha is addressing Arjuna, O sinless one. So it binds us. Though it frees us from sinful reaction, it binds us through knowledge and sukha, a kind of happiness. The characteristic of Sattva guna is a kind of happiness we experience in Sattva guna, and a kind of knowledge because we are able to see things in the right perspective. And the sukha is freedom from sinful reaction. That's the sukha. What's the sukha? Freedom from sinful reactions. And what is the jnana? We see things prakashakam in the right perspective. So in Sattva-guna, we can see and perceive I am not the body. I am not the body. But that does not mean I understand that I am spirit soul. That is not automatic. You understand you are something different from the body. But what you are, you'll only know when you take up bhakti yoga. When you cultivate transcendental knowledge, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, ashtanga yoga, only then you will understand what you are. Merely situating yourself in sattva guna, you can't understand what you are. You can understand I'm not the body, I'm not matter. That you can understand. So prakashakam anamayam is desirable. It is illuminating, it is enlightening, but that enlightenment is partial enlightenment. It's not complete enlightenment. Partial enlightenment. And also anamayam, it frees us from sinful reactions, but that's like a neutral state. When I'm freed from sinful reactions, the relief I get having suffered, it's just like simple example Prabhupada gives. Supposing I'm having stomach pain. I overate and I have developed stomach pain. Now it's paining. I want relief from this stomach pain. So I try so many things. Hajmola. I'll take Hajmola. If it works, my stomach pain is gone. Such a relief. No stomach pain. A kind of sense of happiness comes, no? Immediately, when you get relief from some pain, some gnawing pain. But how long can that last? Can I be celebrating and jubilant? I became free from the stomach pain. How long can I do that? Just a matter of few minutes, that's all. For an intelligent person, it was there, it's come, it's gone, that's all. But for a foolish person, oh, I had a stomach pain, he'll keep on talking to everybody. Yesterday, I had a very severe pain. Such a relief I got, and bore everybody. So you can understand that freedom from sinful reactions, as soon as you become free from sinful reactions, because of which your suffering is over, then it's a big relief. It's a very big relief. So that relief is the kind of happiness in Sattva Guna. Even becoming enlightened in knowledge, getting the true perspective of things. Just like somebody has got a very ugly looking, ugly body, not so beautiful form. But as soon as they realize I'm not the body, what a relief it is, Thinking, I'm so unfortunate, I'm so ugly looking. But you're not the body. So, I don't have to bother about this ugly body. I'm not the body. But then the positive happiness of not being the body and hence not being ugly is when you discover your spirit soul, you got a very beautiful spiritual form, eternally youthful form. That is positive happiness. And that is eternal form. So eternally you can be happy. I am beautiful. Is it not? So positive happiness is not in merely becoming free from all suffering, free from all sinful reactions. So liberation by itself is not the cause of positive happiness. Liberation is a big relief. So Sattva Guna can at most give you a so-called liberation, freedom from sinful reaction. So the word liberation, when it is used in different contexts, it means different things. So there is no one single understanding of what is liberation. Therefore, we say what we should aspire for is ultimate liberation. Ultimate liberation is described in the Bhagavatam, 12th canto. Atyantika. Atyantika dukkha nivritti. That is ultimate freedom from all suffering, miseries, distress, unhappiness, etc. It's only when you're reinstated in your original position as devotee of Krishna. Only then. Because immediately your spiritual joy, transcendental bliss, you begin to experience in your loving devotional service with Krishna. Krishna reciprocates. Even though we are tiny, Krishna will flood our heart with unlimited happiness. We'll get immersed in an ocean of transcendental bliss. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes this in Shikshashtaka. Anandam buddhi vardhanam. When you chant Hare Krishna, reach the perfection of chanting Hare Krishna, the first thing that happens is Cheto Darpana Marjanam. It begins. To start chanting Hare Krishna, your consciousness starts getting cleansed. But when the cleansing is almost complete, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. The fire, blazing fire of material existence is extinguished. That's also the description here. Anamayam. You become free from all sinful reactions. You become free from all sinful reactions simply by chanting Hare Krishna. Now, cultivating Sattva Guna through the other yoga systems, Karma Yoga does not free you from sinful reactions. Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. But of the three, Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga, you can become free from sinful reactions by cultivating the mode of goodness, but it's very slow and very tedious. To become free from the influence of Rajoguna, Tamoguna is very tedious and very slow. Whereas in chanting Hare Krishna, it doesn't matter, even a person in Tamoguna simply vibrates the tongue and says, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The elevation to the spiritual platform has already begun. Beyond even Sattva Guna. Chanting takes us even beyond Sattva Guna. Okay. What's the difference between chanting Om and chanting Hare Krishna? Both are transcendental sound, vibration. Both are representation of Krishna only. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. The difference is Om can take you beyond the three gunas to the Brahman platform. That Krishna describes in the 18th chapter. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu. So that is the Brahman platform, the spiritual platform. As far as coming to the spiritual platform is concerned, Brahman platform, anybody who anyhow chants Hare Krishna, immediately spiritual platform. Omkar chanting, you have to practice and perfect. Then you come to the spiritual platform. It takes a long time. Hare Krishna is immediately. But our difficulty is, if we chant Hare Krishna, we come to the spiritual platform, We finish chanting, we get on with other material activities, we come back to the material platform. So how to remain on the spiritual platform? What does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? Kirtaniya sada harihi. Now you understand why he says Kirtaniya sada harihi. Then you can remain on the spiritual platform. You don't have to come down to the material platform. So when is that possible? When you spiritualize all your other activities. When you're chanting Hare Krishna, it is a spiritual activity. When you're sitting and hearing Bhagavad Gita or reading Bhagavad Gita, it's spiritual activity. But when you're working in your office, at home, some ordinary material activity you're doing, maintenance of the body, some minimum things you have to do. So spiritual, how to spiritualize that? That you have to learn from the spiritual master. That you have to learn from the spiritual master. That's why you should study Prabhupada's own life. The life of great saintly persons. Not the life of Krishna. Krishna never accepts a material body. Prabhupada, for the sake of preaching, accepts a material body. Why? To teach us, even in the material body, meeting the demands of the body, how to remain always Krishna conscious, always on the spiritual platform. So Prabhupada teaches us how to spiritualize all our ordinary activities also. Prabhupada was also eating, Prabhupada was also working, Prabhupada was also sleeping. He also used to get sick, right? But he remained always Krishna conscious. So therefore, we have to learn this from the spiritual master. Therefore, there's an absolute necessity of a spiritual master. Questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare.
You said Paramatma is temporary, Maharaj. So
Manifestation, temporary manifestation in the material world.
So does Paramatma leave the jiva in all types of
See,
liberation?
appearance and disappearance. This is the term Prabhupada uses for incarnations, for Mahavishnu, for Paramatma. Appear, disappear.
So they disappear at the time of liberation from a jiva, or they're all even in spiritual world?
It's like, I can give you an example. Supposing the sun is shining in the sky, you keep a pot of water. The reflection of the sunshine is the sun, not sunshine. Reflection of the sun is there in the water. Correct? Now, if you keep one pot, there is one reflection. If you keep 10 pots, there are 10 reflections. If you keep 1,000 pots, there are 1,000 reflections. Now, you kept one pot of water, 10 pots of water, one pot breaks. Then what happens to the reflection? Disappears. Does it mean the sun has disappeared? No. The reflection has disappeared. But again, you keep another pot of water, the reflection is there. So Paramatma is like the reflection of Krishna in the heart of every living entity. Like, it's not reflection, like a reflection. So what happens to reflection? Nothing happens to reflection. It's like that. Yeah, that is also there. Prabhupada gives that example also. Okay, next question.
One more question, Prabhu.
Quick.
In spiritual world, devotees take different forms, like a plant, flower, like a fruit.
There is no taking a form. They are.
So that's their eternal form, Maharaj?
Eternal form does not mean a fixed form.
Oh.
There's a dynamic form. See, form, okay. If you study the 10th chapter, Arjuna's question, open, all of you open, 10th chapter, Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintyosi bhagavan maya. This verse. I don't know. Remember the number. I'll tell you the number. I think the 17th verse. Is 17? Yes. Read the 17 translation, please. 10.17. Who has got the mic? Please read.
Hare Krishna. How should I meditate on you? In what various forms are you to be contemplated, O blessed Lord?
Now, Arjuna's question is he's asking Krishna, how should I meditate upon you? In what various forms are to be contemplated, meditated upon? What various forms? So here the word, Sanskrit word for form is bhava. Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu, in what various forms? Chintyosi, should I contemplate or meditate on you? So bhava has got many different meanings. One of the meanings of bhava is form. So devotee in a particular bhava in the spiritual world has a suitable form according to the bhava. Bhava is also the relation, the mood in which a particular service is done based on the relationship. Yashoda Mai, she is in the mood of serving Krishna as his mother. She is in the bhava of serving Krishna as Krishna's mother. So she has the form of a mother. She is the form of a mother. So bhava also means form. So according to the bhava, the form is exactly according to the bhava. Like in a drama, exactly according to the role I had to play, my facial expressions will be made. If I'm angry, I'll like frown like this, and that's automatic for somebody who's an expert actor. If I'm not good in acting, I'll struggle to make a face showing that I am angry. But some expert actors, how nicely they act. You really wonder, they're really angry? So, like something like that in the spiritual world, the mood of a mother, mother form. So, what is spiritual form is difficult to understand. You just accept windows to the spiritual world. Prabhupada said these paintings are windows to the spiritual world because we don't have the eyes to see. If we read description, we can't believe. Prabhupada says, whether you believe or don't believe, this is what it is. This is a fact. This is the way actually spiritual world is. There are beautiful covered boys. Krishna is another covered boy. He's cute looking 5-year-old boy. He's having a nice turban. He's having a peacock feather. These are all real. Real means spiritual substance, not matter. So what we see in the material world, peacock feather, nice turban, these are all reflections. 15th chapter. The whole material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. Next question.
So Maharaj, we understand that Satoguna is purer than the others, but also that 10th verse.
Okay, we are not read the second and the third. We'll read that and then. Okay, still you ask your question.
Yeah, my question is, the Krishna explains later in the 10th verse, the different times, the different modes overpower.
Yeah, the modes are always in competition with each other to dominate. One mode dominating over the other two. Yeah, that is there.
So my question is, what triggers at what time, which mode will dominate me? Sometime I'm very satoguna.
The modes are part of material nature. Who controls material nature? Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate characharam. Krishna controls.
So by design,
Krishna controls through the directors. Personally, he doesn't control. He just what does he do? He wills that there be creation. Creation takes place. Who does the creation? His energies, his potencies. So he directs in terms of willing. There's one song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Tumi Sarveshwareshwara Brajendra Kumar. Tomara इच्छा है सृजन संहार तवा इच्छे मातो ब्रह्मा कोरेना सृजन. So it's the will of Krishna according to which Brahma directs the Rajoguna. According to the will of Krishna, Vishnu directs the Sattva Guna. According to the will of Krishna, Shiva directs Tamo Guna. And the maid servant, Durga Devi, exactly according to the direction of the directors, according to the will of Krishna, she actually carries out the directions. The varying influences, the living entities on whom the energy has to act, and the changes that have to take place, everything Durga Devi carries out.
Whereas my question is slightly different. That my question was, what are those triggers? Like somebody say get up early in the morning. It's supposed to mean Satoguna, Brahma more the time.
Not supposed to be in Sattva-guna. It is Sattva-guna.
No, but we can be in Tamo
dominates.
early morning someday.
You being in a particular mode is different. The nature itself, one guna dominating is different.
Yeah, my question is, what are those triggers that one should be careful not to glide down to the lower modes? That was my question.
Okay. Now, we are made up of a combination of three gunas according to the body we have received. And this constitution of the body according to the combination of the gunas keeps changing depending on our eating habits, sleeping habits, working habits, and above all, our spiritual practice. The eating, sleeping, working habits will keep, varying our proportion of sattva guna, rajoguna, tamoguna influences. But if you take prasadam, you are freed from the influence of all the three gunas. You come to the transcendental position, transcendental platform, above the influence. So for a devotee, it is important to practice spiritual life in order to rise above all the three gunas. Whereas those who eat sattvic food, have a sattvic mode of living, they can gradually come to sattva guna. But sattva guna is also binding. Next question, or shall we proceed? Last question, then we'll proceed again. Okay. One and two questions more. Okay.
So sattva guna, they say people like sweet, juicy food, and another concept is like people who eat more sweets, their sense control will be very tough. So how do both relate?
Ayurveda, yes, good question. It's a little funny question, but it's a very good question. It's a practical question, Yeah. Sweets are food in the mode of goodness. Okay. And prasadam sweet is not even the mode of goodness, it is transcendental. So remember this. Prasadam sweet is transcendental. Prasadam sour item is also transcendental. So don't think that sweet is transcendental, so I can eat sweets. Sour is also transcendental. Bitter is also transcendental. Bitter Karela. The offer to Krishna, it is transcendental. Okay, in Ayurveda there is a sutra. Even nectar, when somebody takes in excess, it becomes poison. I don't know the Sanskrit. I've heard this, but I don't remember the Sanskrit. So Ayurveda says, take nothing in excess. Nothing, including nectar. Huh? That's correct. Anything in excess is bad. Yes, that's correct. Anything material in excess. But when we are in the conditioned state, even prasadam, if we take in excess, it is not good for us. Okay. Yes.
It is prasadam, but it is spicy. It puts you in Rajoguna, we say. So there is an element of, like you said, regulation and
No, it doesn't put you in Rajoguna. If it puts you in Rajoguna only if it is not offered. Spicy food which is not offered will put you in Rajoguna.
But spicy food offered to the Lord?
Spicy food offered to the Lord will not put you in Rajoguna. Then still if I eat, it will do some damage. No. That damage is to the body, not to the soul. Bhakti is not affected by eating very spicy food. Bhakti is not affected.
Stomach is
Stomach is.
And since you are bound by your body, you will be affected. No?
We are still not liberated souls. So we cannot indiscriminately eat something. We have to eat according to what agrees with our system. So that in this conditioned state, we can still continue to do devotional service. Prabhupada, even if he's sick, he does devotional service. So it doesn't matter for Prabhupada. But still, he would not eat indiscriminately. Sometimes some devotee would serve him something which is not agreeable with his system, and then he would get some stomach upset, but very rare. Okay. Yes. Not working.
Pranam. So this is general scripture question. So in Bhagavatam, the moon planet is situated above the sun planet. It's mentioned like around 100,000 miles or above.
Yeah.
And that moon rays is being, a cause for the coolness of the moon rays is good for the growth of the vegetables and all these things.
It makes vegetables succulent and juicy.
Juicy, right?
Moonshine.
So
that's in the Bhagavad Gita, Soma Udutva Rasatmaka, 15th chapter.
Okay. But we see this moon planet here, somewhere near us, like this also supplies the moon rays, cooling rays.
This is the moon planet referred to in the scriptures.
Oh, okay.
This very moon which you see is the moon planet.
But Prabhupada mentioned it is above the sun planet, there is one moon planet is there.
Not above the sun, there's one moon planet. There's only one moon planet.
No.
In scriptures or science or whatever, there's only one moon planet. Only one sun, one moon in the entire universe.
Okay.
Scientists say there are many moons.
But this is not above the sun, right? This is below the sun.
No. Above, below, and all, when you go in outer space, you cannot make out anything above or below.
Okay.
We're talking of distances. Fifth canto is talking of distances. The distance between the earth and the sun, some distance is given in the scriptures. The distance between the earth and the moon is greater than the distance between the earth and the sun by some 10,000 miles or something. Okay?
Okay, so the one he's
talking. We're talking of distance.
Yeah, the one he's talking about is this moon planet.
This moon planet, what
Oh,
we
okay.
see. Yes. There's only one moon. There's only one moon. Shall we continue? We'll take some more questions after I finish the third topic. Divine and demoniac natures. So study three modes of material nature very nicely. 14th chapter, 17th chapter entirety, and 18th chapter the section verses. I'll tell you the verse numbers. (19 to 40), 19 to 40. It describes work in the three modes, worker in the three modes, knowledge in the three modes, understanding in the three modes, happiness in the three modes. Very, very wonderful description. You can't find this in one place. It's all over the scriptures, other scriptures. Bhagavad Gita in one place, Krishna very concisely has given, very nicely has explained. So study this. Entirety of 14th chapter, entirety of 17th chapter, and 18th chapter, 19 to 40, these verses, for a complete study of the three gunas. Actually, three gunas appear in many other places also, just like 7th chapter, 14th verse, Daivi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratya. 2nd chapter, Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna, Traigunya Vishaya Veda. So gunas are there in every chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Something about the gunas is there. But specifically, we want to study what the gunas, their influence, and how to overcome the influence. 14, 17, and 19 to 40 verses of 18th chapter. Now let's go on to 16th chapter, divine and demoniac natures. So in this chapter, Krishna describes what is divine nature or demoniac nature. So before getting into what is divine nature and demonic nature, the definition, the 6th verse, please read the translation of 6th verse.
O son of Pruta, in this world there are two kinds of created beings. One is called the divine and the other demonic. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demoniac.
See, in this chapter, Krishna describes divine qualities and demoniac qualities. He defines among created beings, Dvau Bhuta Sargau. Sarga means creation. So created beings, there are two kinds of created beings. And one is called the divine, Daiva Asura Evacha. Daiva Asura. Daiva is divine, Asura is demoniac. Now, the first three verses of the 16th chapter, Krishna describes 26 divine qualities. Qualities of divine nature people. 26 qualities he describes. And Prabhupada has briefly explained each of the quality. In the elaborate purport he has written. Very big purport. So go through that. Then, in brief, the demoniac qualities, 6 demoniac qualities Krishna mentions in the 4th verse. Read the 4th verse. Translation. Fourth verse translation. 16.4.
Arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness, and ignorance, these qualities belong to those of demonic nature, O
So,
son of Pratha.
very easy to understand. All demonic qualities are bad qualities. Not difficult to understand. Bad qualities. All divine qualities are good qualities. Okay. Now, most important is what's the difference between somebody having demoniac qualities and divine qualities? The 5th verse translation describes that. Read the 5th verse translation.
The transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demonic qualities makes for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pandu, for you are born with the divine qualities.
Daivi sampat vimokshaya. Divine qualities are meant for liberation, lead to liberation. From what? From material bondage. And nibandhaya asuri mata. The demonic qualities are meant for bondage. They create bondage in this material world. Therefore, we should cultivate divine qualities. Now, what is the basis on which somebody has divine qualities and somebody has demonic qualities? That is explained by Prabhupada in the 6th verse purport. Open 6th verse of the 16th chapter, the purport. There's only one paragraph. Okay, you can read from the 3rd sentence of the 6th verse, 16th chapter purport. Somebody can read 3rd sentence onwards. There's only one paragraph.
One should perform duties in the light of authority.
3rd sentence. Those who are born.
Those who are born with the divine qualities follow a regulated life. That is to say, they abide by the injunctions in scriptures and by the authorities.
Then read on.
One should perform duties in the light of authoritative scriptures. This mentality is called divine. One who does not follow the regulative principles as they are laid down in the scriptures and who acts according to his whims is called demonic or asuric. There is no other criterion but obedience to the regulative principles of scriptures. It is mentioned in Vedic literature that both the demigods and the demons are born of the Prajapati. The only difference is that one class obeys the Vedic injunctions and the other doesn't.
So instead of trying to see detailed way, what are the demoniac qualities, what are the divine qualities, there are many, they're given here. A simple understanding of the fundamental differentiating criterion between demoniac and divine nature is given here by Prabhupada. What is that? One who obeys the scriptural injunctions, leads a regulated life according to scriptural directions, is divine natured. One who does not follow is demonic nature. Very, very simple. Very simple. You see? That's why Prabhupada says that our acharyas have given us to practice bhakti, they've given us some rules and regulations. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, nectar of devotion, gives us rules and regulations, sadhana bhakti. The Prabhupada says, please follow the rules, don't break the principles. So what happens if we break the principles? We become demoniac natured. If we follow the rules and regulations, we'll always remain divine natured. Very simple. Then read the rest of the chapter and the beginning also, the 26 divine qualities and demonic qualities. And you'll understand the importance of following the principles or the rules and regulations of Bhakti Yoga. Of course, there are so many rules and regulations in the scriptures given as regards, eating, sleeping, doing some work, giving some charity. So many rules are there, filled with rules. Don't do this, do this. Do this, don't do this. Pravritti, nivritti. So many rules. Huh? And those who are too much orthodox, as they stay in India, no? They'll keep telling, no? You should wash your hands, you should do this, you should do that, don't do this, don't travel on Tuesday, don't see the moon on Ganesh Chaturthi day. And so many things that keep telling. And sometimes we get tired of hearing them and following them. So Prabhupada has simplified life for us, that just begin with chanting Hare Krishna and following 4 regulative principles. Slowly, one by one, introduce that rules of sadhana bhakti, that you eat prasadam, don't eat bhoga. Slowly, one by one. Like this, a few rules and regulations, sadhana bhakti you follow, your life is successful, finished, over. You don't have to follow all those detailed, which are all correct and true, but they are not required for those who are following bhakti. For those who are following bhakti, it's not required so much. Okay, questions? I completed whatever I had to say.
So Maharaj, sometimes it's not a clear cut. Somebody follows the injunctions and somebody...
Why? We have got our law book, Bhakti Rasam Sindhu. You just follow that. That's all over.
No, I mean to say, somebody who is not starts off with Asurik and starts to follow some, but he also breaks some.
Don't get into all that complication. Simple. We as devotees, we understand we got rules and regulations of sadhana bhakti. If we don't follow, we become demoniac nature. If we follow, we come to Krishna consciousness, that itself means we are divine natured. Because anybody who comes to Krishna consciousness agrees to follow. They will not be here, you will not be here. If you don't agree to follow what Prabhupada is teaching, what this institution is recommending, you will not be here. All of you here means you are divine natured. But to remain divine natured, that's what I'm talking. Next question. Prabhu, you can be the volunteer to pass on the mic, because they have difficulty in passing one devotee.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
My question was a continuation for the previous discussion we had about Paramatma being a temporary manifestation. So when the living entity, at the time of death, will this soul still be along with the super soul, that is Paramatma?
Yes, Paramatma is always with us as long as we are in this material world. Till we go back to Godhead, Paramatma is with us. And when we go back to Godhead, Paramatma is still with us directly as Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Huh? Brahman effulgence, no manifestation. Brahman effulgence is Paramatma, no? Krishna, no? And effulgence itself is Paramatma or Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Next
Prabhu.
question, yeah.
So according to Krishna, what actually determines a devotee's perfection of the exercise of Bhakti Yoga?
According to Krishna, you follow the instructions of your spiritual master, that is perfection. That's all. That is what Krishna says. Follow the instructions of my devotee. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. 4th chapter, 34th verse. Yes, next question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So as you said, like after coming to Krishna consciousness, we started following the scriptures. But the divine quality is mentioned, like I'm not exactly having all those qualities. So how
No,
am I
whether we have the qualities or don't have is immaterial. Is immaterial. Whether are you willing to follow the principles? That is what we have to consider. Hmm? That is what we have to consider.
Maharaj, there is this
Online question?
yes, online question there.
Yes, yes.
Few of them. Okay, so this one question is, all the anarthas of devotees make them asuric?
No, 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 no. Anartha doesn't mean you're asurik. Anartha means something I have contacted material nature and I have developed, I have picked up that contamination, and that is an obstacle for my devotional service. But by chanting Hare Krishna, any obstacle can be overcome, no matter what that obstacle may be.
There is another question. It's similar question asked by two different devotees. It says, why did Krishna create material world when he knew it is source of misery? And the
He
other,
doesn't know it is source of misery. He doesn't make it miserable. When Krishna says it is a place of misery, it is because it is very difficult for us to follow all the rules and regulations and be situated in pious life. Afternoon I described how life in this material world is so difficult to remain always pious and avoid sin. Is when you're walking on the street, you may stamp on an ant. For the ant, what is it? Crushing it to death. And that is punishable. But I didn't see, I somehow stepped on an ant. I didn't even notice it. When you light the burner in your home for cooking, huh? So then there is one small tiny insect sitting there on the burner. You light it, it's burnt to death. Arson. Los Angeles, it happened. So many homes were burnt away. So for the small insect, what is it? We are burning it to death. So we cannot live in this material world without committing some sin, unavoidable, unintentional. So therefore Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. Sarva papebhyo is sins which are committed unknowingly, knowingly, inadvertently, accidentally, due to some bad influence, whatever it be. Everything Krishna says, I'll free you from all those sinful reactions. So that's the only way. Having come to this material world foolishly, the only way to get out is surrender to Krishna. You can get out. Ma me vaye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. You want to get out of the gunas? Somehow we got entangled. Only way is surrender to Krishna. And go back to Godhead, surrender to Krishna. Everything comes to the same thing. Surrender to Krishna. Yes, another question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So, in some of the lectures or the guidance that we got from the authorities, we heard that maximum 3 lives is the time that, one who comes into the Krishna consciousness will go back to Godhead. And
In maximum 3 lives. Prabhupada says, one moment you
Prabhupada
can go
says
back to
one
Godhead.
moment, so,
Please
but
read this. No, I want everybody to open 2.72. Purport. Please open. Second chapter, last verse, 72nd verse, purport. Very, very important thing Prabhupada says there. Can somebody read the first first two sentences. First three sentences, please read. 2.72, first three sentences of the purport. First paragraph, purport. Please read that loudly.
One can attain Krishna consciousness or divine life at once, within a second, or one may not attain such a state of life even after millions of births. It is only a matter of understanding and accepting the fact.
Read the next sentence also.
Katvanga Maharaj attained this state of life just a few minutes before his death by surrendering unto Krishna.
See? Simply surrender to Krishna, you attain the state of life immediately. So, clearly Prabhupada says, it is possible to attain even in 1 second, or you may not get even after millions of births. So where is Prabhupada telling 3 lifetimes only you going to go back to Godhead?
Yeah, that
Says at once you can go, provided you want to go. 1:17, sorry, 1:17. Please open Bhagavatam if you got your Veda base or Gita base or in your mobile somewhere. Bhagavatam is there. 1:17. Please open.
Continuation.
Not 1:17 entire, not even translation. I want purport. Some. Can you give me? I'll just locate that and I myself will read. In this, Prabhupada says, the Lord is more anxious to take us back into his kingdom than we can desire. I repeat, the Lord is more anxious to take us back into his kingdom than we can desire. Most of us do not desire at all to go back to Godhead. What does Prabhupada say? Most of us do not desire at all to go back to Godhead. Only a very few men want to go back to Godhead. But anyone who desires to go back to Godhead, Sri Krishna helps in all respects. So what's your problem? We just don't want to go. This is a whole difficulty. Everybody say, no, Prabhu, no, Maharaj, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. Okay, I accept we all want to go. Definitely we want to go. No doubt about it. None of us have any doubt whether we want to go or not. But to go back to Godhead, are we ready or are we preparing ourselves? What did Parikshit Maharaj do to prepare himself to go back to Godhead? He did something. No, before that, what did he do? He renounced all material connections and then went and sat and fixed his attention on hearing the glories of Vishnu from the mouth of pure devotees. That's exactly what we have to do. But before we renounce everything, no, I'm serious. Don't do that now. All husbands will leave the wives and go. Don't do that. Don't leave home. Before you do that, you have to practice. At least for 10 minutes, one round Hare Krishna. Set aside all your material duties and your material responsibilities and your material plan making, everything, and chant Hare Krishna nicely. Do this. And then sit and hear Bhagavatam for whatever, 45 minutes or 1 hour. Nicely sit and hear. Practice this. Parikshit sat and heard 7 days and nights continuously without even taking any food or drinking any water. We can't imitate Parikshit Maharaj. They try to imitate Bhagavad Saptaha. But that is imitation. That's not going to be effective. So instead you practice. And comes a stage called retirement. There has to be some retirement stage. Say after 50 or 60 years. Then you remain where you are, sthane sthita, shrutigatam tanuvan manobhi. Shrutigatam. You practice Krishna consciousness wherever you are, but dedicating your body, words, and mind for chanting and hearing, worshipping the Lord, etc. But to do that, before retirement, you have to practice. Little practice. That you have to do. Okay, next question. Thank you.
From Krishna's point of view, what is the need of material transient world? Seems like a necessary exercise.
Okay. The material world has got a purpose. Why Krishna creates? Prabhupada explains, Krishna's purpose of creation is to give a chance to the conditioned souls to try to enjoy independent of him, realize we can never be able to enjoy independent of Krishna, and actually go back to Godhead, to live eternal life full of bliss and knowledge. This is the whole purpose of the creation. That's why he's created this material world. Yes, please ask your question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I wanted to know, you said that Arjuna expands in every universe, and at different moments they're in different places performing different pastimes, but Srila Prabhupada comes in a material form. So I wanted to know if not only Krishna expands and comes into spiritual form in the material world, but isn't Srila Prabhupada also a pure devotee? Why does he not just come in this spiritual form?
Then we can't connect with him, we can't relate with him. He look a funny person, no?
So wasn't Arjuna asking the questions in the Bhagavad Gita and feigning ignorance because he was also trying to connect with the people that are going to take up Krishna consciousness?
Yes. Arjuna is asking on our behalf. Arjuna as a pure devotee does not require enlightenment.
Yeah.
But apparently he is confused about his duty. Karpanya doshopahata swabhavaha pruchami tvam dharma sammuda cheta. So our acharyas say, Prabhupada says in a lecture, that Krishna put Arjuna into illusion so that he could speak Bhagavad Gita for our benefit, not for his benefit.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay.
Maharaj, I have a question on, you explained that the Lord's form in the spiritual world, it is a completely new revelation to me today. That you said Lord Ramchandra in his original abode, like Saket Dham, he's not in that two-handed form, but in the four-handed form. So this is
As much as all the incarnation, not only Rama, Narsimha, Varaha, Matsya, Kurma, Vamana, all incarnations except Krishna and Balaram. Four-handed form, yes.
Saket Dham.
Yes. Yes.
So then he doesn't have that bow and arrow there, that form is not there.
No. But then, you see, Lord Rama is eternally there in the material world also. Eternally is there in the material world. In his deity form, in his form of incarnations from time to time, he is there in the material world. His devotees are there. Even now, in one planet, what loka is that? In the 5th canto. Kim Purusha Loka, Hanuman is there and is constantly singing the glories of Lord Rama. He's worshipping Rama. Even on the earth planet, there's so many devotees of Rama, they're always worshipping Rama. So in that form of Rama, he's always there in the material world. Narsimha, always there in the material world, in the deity form. And he incarnates yuge yuge. Time to time he incarnates as Narasimha in every universe. So the Lord's incarnations are continuously coming and going, continuously coming and going. All incarnations, all incarnations. Because he is very anxious to deliver us. So he's making so many arrangements. The Prema Dhwani we sing, we say every day. You say, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. You say, Jai, Jai, Jai. So all the pure devotees, why they come? To deliver us. Why is Ganga coming to this material world? The spiritual world. To deliver us. Because simply by taking bath in the Ganga, you become purified of all reactions. Suffering so they become suffering. So you belong Ganga. Incarnate extends his 1 foot, pierces down. And that was feet, foot of Vaman Dev. So carrying the dust of the lotus feet of Vishnu. Ganga is carrying that. So Ganga and the blessing of the Lord is somebody just takes a bath in the Ganga, they are purified. Somebody just invokes Ganga, every day you take bath. And of course, in India, we have a bucket of water. But here you have a shower. Okay, doesn't matter. The water that is in the pipeline in the shower. You invoke Ganga by just chanting Gange Chayumne Chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri. Jales means Sannidhim Kuru. All the 7 holy rivers, may that water be invoked in the water that I am to bathe now. Okay, that's very complicated mantra. I can't remember. Just say Ganga Mai ki Jai. Just say that before you take bath. Pray to Ganga. Please be present in this water so that I can become purified. Over. If you can't do that even, just say Ganga. Just remember Ganga. That itself is enough to purify you. This is the blessing of the Lord. So many ways the Lord wants to deliver us. Tulsi Maharani. See, the appearance of Tulsi is so very auspicious. In Nectar of Devotion, what does Prabhupada say? Quoting Skanda Purana. Tulsi is auspicious in all respects. Simply by seeing, touching, worshipping, circumambulating, watering, remembering, all auspiciousness is there. Everything inauspicious is destroyed. Simply go around Tulsi Maharani 3 times. All your sinful reactions are nullified. Yani kani cha papani brahma hatyadi kani cha tani tani pranashyanti pradakshina pade pade. Every step while you are keeping going around Tulsi Maharani, every step, so many millions and billions of reactions are destroyed. Okay, it's 8 o'clock. It's past 8. Okay, we'll close here. Thank you very much for patiently hearing. I want to give some prasadam to all of you. So, you can come. Put a chair on the table also.
Get the same. Get the same table from. Get the table from top. Maharaj, while that is being arranged, on behalf of the Milpitas Yatra, I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude for your wonderful association and elucidation of the essence of the Gita over 3 sessions. I think I heard from so many devotees that they had such a transformational experience, hearing and understanding things that in their whole life they never heard. No, they were all expressing their gratitude for learning from you some things that their whole life they're reading Gita, they've never understood or never even realized what is there. So on behalf of all the devotees, I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude. Kindly bless us so that we can continue our serious study of the Gita.
Actually, all this credit is due to Prabhupada, because and I started reading the Gita, I couldn't understand most of it, to be very honest. And then I decided that I'm going to really study thoroughly to understand that what Prabhupada has so nicely explained, painstakingly written the Gita and explained. And I am going on discovering so many new things, though it's not new, it's all there in the Gita. But many things are not clear or not properly understood. Even now, there are things I have not understood. Still not understood, but I'm waiting. See, we have to depend on revelation by Krishna within our heart. Even the spiritual master, he reveals from within our heart. We sing every day in Guru Puja, Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita. All transcendental knowledge is revealed in the heart by the grace of the spiritual master. So we always are open, with an open-minded this thing. We study, read, chant, do our devotional service, but we wait for revelation. We wait for revelation. Whenever it happens, but we should be open. It can happen anytime. It may or may not happen in a, in a time we expect it should happen, but it will happen. In any case, simply if you are engaged, whether you are enlightened or not enlightened completely, if you're simply engaged, you're going back to Godhead. That's for sure. So please don't stop practicing, executing devotional service, which includes reading or hearing the Bhagavad Gita regularly. And study is more for the serious practice of Krishna consciousness. That is the real mood of studying. Not academic study that we want to become scholars or we want to become experts or we want to become great jnanis. No, that is never the attitude. It's never the attitude. So always humility. The first item of knowledge in 13th chapter is humility. So transcendental knowledge is never realized if we are not humble. A proud person may quote so many scriptural verses, may explain so many bhashyas and commentaries and all that, but not one bit he will realize if he is not humble. Nothing he will realize. Simply be parroting the scriptural statement, that's all. Prabhupada says, parrot can also chant Hare Krishna. You can make it, you can train it. It'll chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. But when a cat comes and catches its neck, that's all that will come out. No Hare Krishna will come out. So understand the difference between theoretically becoming a scholar and becoming a humble devotee with all humility, waiting for revelation by the mercy of the spiritual master and Krishna. The two are different. Hare Krishna.
Devotees can come this way and then go in the middle. Huh? Matajis also can come one line like this, and then one Prabhuji can come and everybody can get. Not pay obeisances here, they can go back and pay obeisances so they can.